Testing, testing. Kendall, if you're there, let me know if you can hear me. Say thanks, Kendall. So I think, Kendall, you should be able to hear me now. Let me know if you can. Thank you for letting me know. I've done a whole lot of talking, so it's too bad none of that was heard. But anyway, okay, so now, since you can hear me now, I'll just continue yapping away. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is some of these leaders have moved around a bit, so I'm just going to reposition them properly. And I'll just do that I made myself a little guide there. This is something that I don't really love doing. Sometimes I just copy and paste the text to make a new one, because for some reason lining leaders up can be difficult. So I'm just gonna, I don't think I made a leader. Put that there, line it up with that guy, paste it in. As you can see, it's not the format that I'd like, so I highlight it and then I make it left justified. I'm gonna erase this guideline, and that's all fixed up. So now I'm just going to make sure that these are reconnected to the model. This one seems to still be disconnected, and so I'm going to investigate why. So this red thing here seems to be unhappy, but it's happy now. And same with this one, try to reconnect. Still not happy. Let's just move him so that he's happy again. Why that happened is because this door, the door that's here now, wasn't there before when I did this layout file. So it was pointing to something that is no longer there. So I just wanted confirmation that it still should be pointing at the thing that was there. Okay, so it looks like everything is reconnected here. It looks like it's wanting me to reconnect the scale. So I'll get in there and do that. And it's happy now. So that drawing is updated. I'll go to the next one. And seems like not too much has to change here. I'll just update that one. Like I said earlier, but my audio wasn't on, is that some things like symbols and text I don't put into SketchUp, I just put it in layout. So these are things I have to update. For example, what I'm going to do, since now this room is just a mirrored version of itself, I can just take what was on one side and put it on the other. And I don't know what this was indicating before, but whatever it is no longer there, so I'm going to take it out. But it looks like I do have to update some dimensions. Well, maybe not really. This is still giving all the dimensions for this shallower cabinet, and this is for the deeper cabinet, so that seems like enough info. This is out of date, it says steel hanging rod. I'm just going to take, well, that can stay. That can stay. So I'm going to take these out because they're from how the room was before. And I'll go, looks like everything's fine with this elevation, so I'll go to the next one. And this one's all a mess just like the first one, so I'm going to see if I can just select everything except for the viewport and maybe some of these symbols. I'm going to say reconnect. Maybe that's a quick... Oh, look at that! Everything's reconnected. Wonderful. Looks like some of these leaders are in the wrong place. Like this hardware one, so I'm going to put it there. A quick tip for lining these leaders up is you go align, and here I want them aligned left. So they're all tidy now. It says hardware here, but it actually should be pointing to this guy here. Whoop. So you need to double click, or I guess triple click on it so that you can stretch it like that. So sometimes I like to just indicate or use the dimensions to actually replace it with text, just to be clear about what's going on what side. So this is from how it was before. So it says short hanging side with 2 rods and upper shelf. Because before the long hanging was on this side, but now I'm just going to say that this is just the side for hanging. Hanging side with 2 rods and upper shelf. So that's enough. So this is the side for drawers and shelving. That seems obvious now, but you can never be too clear. So another vestige of the old drawing is these symbols up here. And these door ones, we can do this the same way as we did before. So I'm going to carry this, and this gizmo, I'm going to try to line it up with the center of these cabinets. So I'm pressing shift as I move so that it stays on the same line. And you'll see at some point it'll catch the center of, so that seems like the center there. And I'm going to press Alt at the same time as I stretch this down so it does it. So it looks like I didn't find the center there, so I'm going to try to move it again. See if it catches the center. It doesn't seem to want to catch the center. Maybe I don't really have a clear center there. Well, okay, in that case I will not press Alt, and I will just stretch it manually, and maybe those aren't centered, but it is clear enough. So that seems good there. Again, this looks like it's not happy with where it's at, so I'm going to just place it somewhere on the viewport, and that's reconnected. And my last elevation here, let's see what needs to be fixed. A lot of the labels. Let's just do a big grab of all the things that are red and see how many we can get to reconnect. Hopefully all. There's one I didn't get to grab there, but it's too sandwiched in, so I'll say, oh, look at that again. Most of them reconnected. Reconnect. These two are unhappy. Let's investigate. Looks like something's misaligned there too. This little line here, well, this little line isn't actually going to anything now, so this doesn't even need to be here. So a lot of people get frustrated with the dimensions and references getting red when you're using layout, but they are a good indication that something needs to be updated. Like if you change your model, and then update it in layout, if things are different, it's good to know. And that's what the red highlighting is aiming to do. Sometimes it's highlighting it when it doesn't feel like it needs to be, but it's good just to, those are the ones that reconnect easily. But just try to see it as a good thing, is all I'm saying. So that one seems to be irrelevant. Actually, a lot of these are pretty messed up, so maybe this is an example of where I'm just going to redo them. And I'm going to shift and unselect those. So in this case, easier just to restart. So what I like to do is take the eyedropper tool and just select one of the dimensions I have so far, just to make sure that the next time I click on the dimensions tool, it will be the right scale. So I'm going to go ahead and just create a string of dimensions. Just by double clicking on the points that I want it to make a dimension of. And then so I showed the toe kick depth, but I want to show the overall cabinet depth as well. So So there we have it. I probably should have these lining up, so I'm gonna aim to do that by dragging it down and clicking on one of those points. And voila. So this looks like the door is overlapping here, but it's not in reality because this is on the far side of the room and the shallow cabinets are closer to the door, so there is space, in case you were concerned. So I'm going to get rid of some of these labels here. I guess folding would be up there, so I'll keep that one. And see, this is an interesting scenario. Since I've changed it, my section cut, I do actually have another rod down here, but the section cut is not showing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this viewport to open my SketchUp model. And when I do it from here, all the updates that I make should be updated automatically, which is the benefit of doing it in this order. And you also then are certain that the model that you're using is the one that's connected to the layout viewport, because there's nothing more frustrating than changing a model and not being sure why it's not updating in layout, and like, you know, hours later realizing it's not the same model that's connected to layout. So this is a good way of just ensuring it's definitely the same model. Okay, so I've got this thing open here, and what I like to do is have my scenes tray separate from my default tray, because I do use a lot of scenes, because it's inherent in interior design is that you're doing every single wall in the house as an elevation, so that's a lot of elevations. And I do have naming protocols and numbering protocols for them. And using this standard view up here is just impossible, so it is much better for me to have it listed like this with the room names and numbers according to their naming protocol, so I can easily find them. So what I was aiming to do here was, I'm going to check back with this. So this is the west elevation, it says. So I do recall having an issue with my directions. Yeah, okay, so west is west. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my section cut so that it does include that lower rod. So I'll go back to the scene, okay, deselect. That looks good. I'm going to save that. Actually, wait, something weird is happening with this file where my default material is tiles for some reason, so I just need to make sure that these brackets here are not tile patterned. And for some reason this door hardware too, so let's quickly go through that. Okay, that looks fine now. Save it, and go back here. It should update itself automatically. Sometimes it takes a second after you've saved. You can see it spinning now, and here it goes. It should show those second rods down here and here. Boop-a-dee-boop, there they are. So that's updated. So now I'm going to go through my notes and make sure they all make sense. I have fixed shelf. Let's reconnect that. I have drywall finish for this wall. I have folding for up here. Steel hanging rod right there. What does it say? Existing walk-in closet door access from hallway. Be sure to be reused for new entry. Blah blah blah. Okay, they've kind of already done that. Trim type. I have it as X now because I don't know that I've specified it yet. I'm going to say TR1 because I don't like seeing the X. Steel hanging rod, except now I'm going to add a note saying steel hanging rod on brackets to allow for long hanging on the side. And if you're curious at all as to what that means, let me just fix my leader here to about there. And also adjust my text, it's a little long. So in order to do that, I double clicked on the line itself. And then just move it as needed. And YouTube is telling me something. What is it? It says it's not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Well, but then it says the stream is healthy, so I don't know. But in any case, okay, keep going. Oh yeah, I was gonna show you what, in case you're curious, my working second. What's the best way to show this now? I'm going to go to one of these views. I'll go to this view and hide one of these doors. Actually, that's the next thing I should do, is another view that is showing interiors, because this situation is a little unique, so I want to make sure that the builder understands it. Actually, the best way for him to understand it is probably just doing a little screenshot of something like this, so I'm probably going to do that. I'm going to go to a different kind of view, so I'll go here and I will hide these doors, and then I'll hide this hardware. Hide. And then I'll have to figure out a good way to stand because it's a small space. You know what, I might actually do it from one of these views. I've changed my mind. So it's a little too hard to see, so that'll be good. What I'm going to do is go out of, I'm going to go into perspective mode. And then I will hide these doors. Hide, hide, hide. Oh, I deleted. Delete. Hide, 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 hide. And then just angle it so that I can put it in the details and the mill worker can understand what the heck I mean, instead of putting an obscure note that they might misunderstand. I have some dimensions here I have to get rid of, but I don't know how. I don't even know why they're there. I mean, I remember putting them, but I don't remember putting them there. But SketchUp dimensions are kind of weird. I think there we go. Hidden under the ceiling. So, well, maybe I'll keep that open. Well, no, I want the ceiling back. I'll unhide that hidden object. And I think I can just take a screenshot of this now. But you know what, now that I'm doing, I'll try not to confuse the builder too much. Now that I'm just taking doors off of things, I'll take all the doors off to just show the open what's behind all the doors. I'm not going to do that with the drawers, because drawers are just drawers. Unless you have special inserts or something, there's nothing too mysterious what's going on behind there. So, oh, I used to take screenshots, but now I've been trying to get good at just being diligent in making perspectives. So I'm going to call this one tool for P1. I say P for perspective 1, walk-in closet. Okay, so I followed the proper naming protocol there, and just gonna make sure that's updated. Then I will save. The reason I don't take screenshots anymore is because it's too annoying for when you have done a revision and your drawing set is not updating automatically and you have to go and redo the screenshot and put it back into your drawing set. I don't love doing that. And it's happened to me too many times. So what I'll do is I'll put a note saying see page something something. So let's say C. This drawing is Q17, so it comes after Q. QR. So R, it'll be page R17, or at least detail R, no, 18. That's cut off in a strange way, so I will, there we go, CR18. And then I'm going to duplicate this page to start making R18. Gonna rename it walk-in closet open perspective. That's what I'll call it. Now we're in open perspective, so what I need to do, well, actually this should have auto updated because it's connected to my SketchUp model. But if I didn't have them connected the way I do, I would have to just make sure that this was saved, which I'm pretty sure I did save. Let me just save it again, just in case. Save the SketchUp model, then go here and update it. Give it a little breather here, a little spinny breather. Okay, update model reference. It should have already been updated, like I said, because I opened that model through LayOut, so it should have a link. But just to be clear, that wouldn't work otherwise. Okay, so now what I have to do is right-click on the viewport, go to Scenes, and then the P1 walk-in closet should be there. So it'll switch to that. Of course, it's going to mess up all of my leaders and dimensions and everything. That's fine. I'm going to leave one of them. So I probably will make some note. And then I'm going to change the scale of this. Well, I'm free to make it pretty big here, so I'll just make it a little bigger. And then I'm going to change the scale to one tip is that I don't know why, but when you click on this, you can't change the scale here, but you can if you go to scale by right-clicking on the viewport. And right now it's 1 to 8, which I think is, I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a 1/4 inch. Let's see what 3/8 is. I mean, it's close to what I need. Ooh, okay, obviously way too small. Even though it jumped to the 3/16. Why did it do that? I don't know. 3/16. So let's go. Obviously, it needs to be at least double 3/8. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch. Still needs to be bigger. Oh, and then once you do it, for some reason now you're able to once you've done it the first time through right clicking. So I feel like it could be not twice as big, but 3/4 is probably right. So let me just crop it a bit better. Okay. I'm just thinking this maybe is a little confusing there, cutting through the wall, but maybe it's alright. Let me see if I can get perspective that makes more sense. I feel like looking up at it makes a little more sense, and then I can crop it like along there. I think that's what I will do. So I'm going to update this, and then I will save again. And because that should be linked, I'm going to just take a second to let it update itself. And you see it's spinning now, so it should be updating itself. And this perspective should change in a second. did not change. Let's see if I can... okay. Update. File. Save. And then this should do its spinny thing. If it doesn't update itself properly, then I will change the scene. So I'll go, sometimes what works is I'll just change the scene, and that, oh, weird. See, it's not really making any, oh, I think I see, I know what's happened. Okay, so there is a bit of an override here, so I need to reset that. And then it should be good. Because if you change settings here in layout, if you change anything about the viewport in layout, it's overriding SketchUp settings. So that was overriding the camera setting, which is not great. And I don't know why it was doing that. But anyways, that's one thing to check. So I'm just going to put this in a better place, and then I'm going to create a clipping mask. Let me get rid of some of these dimensions. Well, there is actually a clipping mask here already, so I'm going to just use this clipping mask and place it where I would like it to clip. So that would be all these four corners. I guess this door makes it a little complicated, but I might just add a node there. So I'm going to add a node by pressing Alt, clicking it where I need to, then another one, just go around this door opening. Okay, let's see how that, well, no, this is not where it needs to be. Okay, let's see how that looks. That's a bit better. I think it makes sense. It communicates what it needs to. So I'm just going to take this note, use the same language I used here. Just make sure I'm not mixing up terms or anything. I'm going to move this note to over here and make it point to this guy. And paste in that same note there. I'm going to change the C whatever, because that's where we are. I'm just going to make this note a little shorter. Steel hanging rod on brackets to allow for long hanging on the side. So hopefully that's clear. Long hanging meaning like tuxedos and dresses, things that need to hang longer than an average shirt or folded over pair of pants, which is usually 3 feet and 3 feet. And I'll put some extra notes about what these are. So I'm going to say, now here again, I don't want to confuse, I'm going to put XX there for a second. I don't want to confuse what I've said previously. So in another note, I have said behind doors folding with adjustable shelves. And then the section above the drawers I have folding, 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 but I don't say anything about, oh yeah, I say adjustable shelves. Okay, yeah, so sometimes I make a note saying adjustable to 1.5 inches above and below this position, because I don't like seeing like holes all over the place, all the way down. But that's usually when it's an exposed thing, but this is behind doors, so it doesn't really matter if it's totally exposed. So I'm going to go back to this, and now I know I can confidently say that it's just adjustable shelves. And this is justified to the wrong side, I'll justify it right. And I'm going to add another leader pointing to this. And how I do that is I just make a line and then I imitate the, oops, I did it backwards. Imitate the properties of that. It tends to usually get it backwards. I don't know why it's not doing it now. Okay, so there I did it. The only thing that has to be fixed is that it has a fill on it, so I take the fill out. So now we have an arrow going to this one and to this one. And I think that's really all I wanted to communicate to the builder there. That seems to be somewhat centered on the page. Alright, and I think I'm pretty much updated on this set of drawings then. Yeah. It still concerns me. I don't know why they show up so thick here. They don't usually do that. Like, let's look at the kitchen plan. Yeah, it's not chunky there. I wonder if there's just some different setting going on. But I don't really see any special settings. It says use line scale of 0.5, but no. Well, anyways, it prints out all right. So if I want to print it out now, what you do is you go to File, Export, PDF. I'm going to save this under PDFs. I'm going to give it today's date, August 3rd, no, 30th. And this is the walk-in closet. Save. And here I'm going to make sure that the output resolution is actually usually do it at medium, but it's important to use JPEG compression for images and do better quality. That's what makes the difference, I have found. And I don't want to print all the pages, I just want to print out the walk-in closet plan. Yeah, so that's from 13 to 18. 13 to 18. Export. So we'll take a look at how this all looks. Make sure that nothing's chunky or too pixelated or anything. See, the plan turned out just fine. Looks lovely. Let's try to zoom in on it for you here. Adobe just updated and it's a little different. Yeah, all the lines look really good. I'm happy with that. Yeah, looks great. And let's take a look at some of the next pages. Yeah, everything here looks very good. I like having the borders as like a pretty thick dark line just to really emphasize the borders. That looks good. Oh, we have a stray leader here. So I'll have to go back and fix that and reprint. And that looks good too. I mean, after I get off this YouTube thing, I'm going to look at it pretty closely. The one thing I really do not like that layout does is these joggy lines. However, what you can do, I'm glad that happened so I can tell you about it. You can just turn that into a vector. And you're not going to be able to show complex styles here, but you can always do, so it's a bit better. So let's try actually, well, I'm going to fix that one leader that got screwed up. And actually, I don't even know which one is hardware 1 and what's hardware 2. Let's look at the schedule here. hardware 1 is the short pole, hardware 2 is the long pole, so that is mixed up. Hardware 1, short pole, I actually should have this note saying hardware 2 and pointing to this. And then, so this one, if it's pointing to here, it should say hardware 2 because it's the long one. And this should be hardware 1, it's the short one. Okay, all honky dory. And that is rectified. So let's try printing again. I should close it in Adobe. Export PDF. So I'll save it over what I did. So it was that one. Output resolution medium. Is the file just as too big if you do it as high, I find. Overwrite. There's a problem exporting this file. Come on. It's not even open. I'm actually going to close Adobe altogether because too much is open. Okay, I'll try again. PDF. Export PDF. This one. Medium. The right pages. Export. Override. There was a problem. Well. Unfortunately. Okay, I'm just going to save it as a new thing. Give it a new date. I'll just say it's the 31st. Pretend we've jumped in time. And try again. Please, oh please. Okay, it looks like it's working. And here we have it. So let's see how that vector one at the bottom fared. Yes, as you can see, it's much, much, much better. So that's the lesson here, folks. With perspectives or any kind of diagonal lines, it should really be vector. Yeah. I don't know how you would deal with that if it was, I guess you could do a hybrid if you have textures that you want to show too. You just don't want to do that too often because that's the most, that takes up the most power from your computer, and it makes the layout file slow if too many things are hybrid or vector. Well, I guess that's it for today, folks. I'm going to shut it down, and I will see you next time. I just have to remember how to shut it down and the stream. Okay, bye-bye.